Well, hello and welcome to this latest video. In this video, we're going to look at cloud storage. Now, what is cloud storage? Well, basically, the cloud is somebody else's computer, i.e. not yours. That's all it is. Everybody has all these fancy names and fancy terms, but what you're doing is just storing your stuff on somebody else's computer. So, why would you need cloud storage? Why would you even think about storing stuff, your stuff, on somebody else's computer? Well, this is basically in case of disaster. And it is a very good idea, and there are a number of things that you can do for it. Now, some of the cloud storage providers have automatic systems that will automatically back up parts of your system and store it on the web. You don't actually have to store it on the web. If you have a smart box for your TV and phone, it's very likely it's got a disk inside it which will allow you to store stuff to it. So you could actually do it that way. If you're running more than one computer, there's nothing to stop you backing up your computer to another computer. But the main problem is that usually you have to do something, and it's a good idea if you can find a provider or you can find something where you don't actually have to do anything. It's done for you automatically. So let's have a look at some of the cloud storage providers, and let's see whether or not they actually do what we want them to do. So first of all, we have Dropbox. Now, Dropbox is, in my opinion, the best, which is why it is at the top. This is because it provides interfaces for Linux, Mac, and Windows, and it will do it automatically. I've had Dropbox for quite a long time, and I haven't actually had any problems with it. As to security, well, how secure is your stuff on another computer? It's as simple as that. Well, you don't have control of that computer, so it doesn't really matter who you choose on this. If you're going to store it in the cloud, then security might be a problem. So the thing to do is make sure that you don't keep things up there which totally private to you. So, for example, bank information, financial information, that type of thing, or which are commercially sensitive. So Dropbox is, in my opinion, the best, simply because it supports all the operating systems. It does so automatically. You don't have to think about it. It'll sync between multiple computers and make sure all the computers are up to date. And you have a free and a paid-for version, but then most of these are the same. The downside is the free version is not very big. It's only 2 gigaoctets, but you can get more space. The paid-for version, of course, is you can pay for much more space as and when you require it. Okay, so next we have OneDrive. Now, this is Microsoft. You get more space with Microsoft. The question is, do you trust Microsoft? That's a question you've got to answer, and it's one which some people will say, well, we don't trust Microsoft, so we're just not going to have OneDrive. I've had a OneDrive account. I've had actually 2 OneDrive accounts for quite some time, but just don't tell Microsoft this. And I've never had a problem with those accounts. You get 5 gig of storage for free, and then you can, if you sign up for Office 365, you get a terabyte, which is rather a large amount of storage. So if you want Office, as I say, Microsoft 365 and do it all online, then sign up for Office 365 and you'll get a free terabyte of storage. Again, you've got to pay to keep this terabyte of storage. So that's something you've got to think about. The downside of OneDrive is that there isn't an application from Microsoft for Linux. There are third-party applications, but they're not as good. They do exist. I do use one on Linux, but they're not necessarily as good. Okay, so Dropbox comes out as a definite winner on this, even though the amount of storage is less. Now you've got Google Drive. I'm afraid I don't trust Google as far as I can throw this planet. When they first started, they have had the tagline, "Don't do anything evil." Don't do evil, I believe it was. They have removed that tagline. They have data on us like you would not believe. And quite simply, I do not trust them at all. In fact, I think they're exceptionally dangerous. Having said that, you do get 15 gigabytes free, and then you can actually buy more if you wish. They do not have an app for Linux, but third-party apps do exist. Yes, I do have a Google Drive account. No, there is nothing of importance on that drive. And the reason I don't trust them is that they will actually read what's on your Google Drive and store the metadata about it. So they will actually look at it for metadata. So I'm not happy about that at all. So Google Drive is a big no to me, and I would recommend that you don't store anything of any interest whatsoever, including photographs, on Google Drive. Okay, next, your mobile phone provider quite often provides you with some space. I have one of Vodafone's subsidiaries is supplying me with my mobile phone, and I get quite a lot of space from them. So this is an option you can have. It depends on the provider as to how much space you get, and also whether they've got apps for your operating system. Usually they only supply Mac and Windows, and normally it's just Windows, okay, and your mobile phone. So if you're programming on a mobile phone or a tablet that has a SIM card in it, fine, but this could be a problem elsewhere. And of course, as soon as you cancel your contract, you lose your space and anything stored in it if you haven't got it backed up. Now, this is an interesting one. You can do it yourself. When you get yourself a hosting provider on the internet, they come with cPanel, or they come with some sort of system to administer your space, and these will actually have a system of a web disk, so you can do it yourself, and there are systems which will allow you to sync and that type of thing. Okay, so that's certainly possible. I don't do this. I have a web disk with one of my hosting services. I don't use it simply because I don't have a lot of space on it. I have tried it out. As I say, there's no problems with it. You use SSH to connect, so it's a secure connection and that type of thing. But just how secure is your hosting service? So for me, it's something which I would think about. And most hosting services actually provide apps for Linux, for your mobile phone, for Windows, and for Mac OS. So it is an option you can think about. The final option, which I haven't got listed here, is, of course, you can do it yourself if you've got a second computer, and then you can do automatic backups from your computer to the second computer. The problem is if somebody breaks into your house, or you have a disaster and you lose both computers, you've lost everything. So the choice for me is I would prefer to have it in the cloud somewhere. At the moment I'm using Dropbox, and that's very good. Now, There is another service you can use, but it's paid for. Well, it's Git. It's Git, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and so on. But most of these are public unless you pay for them. So do you want your code to be public? Now, yes, I do want some of my code to be public. So yes, I have GitHub, I've actually got GitLab, and I have Bitbucket as well. So that is another solution you can use, and you can buy a private repository in there if you wish as well. To give you some idea, most of the big boys actually use GitHub and host a lot of their code on GitHub in private repositories. So, you know, it is something which seems to be fairly secure, but it is very much your choice. Okay, so first of all, as I recommend Dropbox, I put a link below for Dropbox, and if you click on the link, you'll get this: you've been invited to try Dropbox. Now, this is an affiliate link. If you decide to sign up to Dropbox, I will get a small amount of space. I think it's about 500 megabytes added to my account for free. But again, you can do the same. You can pass on an affiliate link if you wish to other people for Dropbox, and you will get more space for free. The reason I've done this is that this is the easiest way. It really is the easiest way to sign up for Dropbox, because it is expecting you to sign up for free. Okay, you just complete your first name, last name, email, put in a password, and you have to complete a captcha, and you tick on I agree. Now, the good thing about Dropbox is that it's totally automatic. Anything that you save into your Dropbox folder on your computer, once you've downloaded the Dropbox app to your computer, is automatically synced with Dropbox. You don't have to do anything with it at all. It happens automatically, and it's also synced with any other computer that you might have that you wish to sync with Dropbox. So that's the one I recommend using Dropbox. Microsoft OneDrive, okay, again, you can sign up for free. If you buy the Office 365, if you want Windows Online, for example, then you'll get 1 terabyte. There is an app for Linux which will allow you to sync this. There is some work involved. It's not a native Microsoft app. There is some work involved that you have to do. I've used it. It works. So, yeah. Google OneDrive. Sorry, Google Drive, not Google OneDrive. This likes you to use Google Chrome. If you're using something else, it's not happy with you. Okay, and again, I'm not happy with Google. It's much too intrusive. It's searching all your data. Anything that you store on the drive will be searched, and metadata will be used. Okay, yes, you can store any sort of file, and no, there is not a native Google app for Linux. Okay, so once you've actually installed Dropbox, all you've got to do is download and install the app, and it will actually oops, where are we? Sorry. Download and install the app, and it will automatically sync your Dropbox folder for you. So quite simply, it's seen I'm on Linux, so I would use the 64-bit Ubuntu because that's the one I'm using. And it's great, it works. No problem. It also has information as to how to do it otherwise. Okay, so those are my recommendations. This way, if you're using this type of account, then you're not going to lose precious data. You're not going to lose your work that you've done, provided you store it in the Dropbox folder on your computer. It will be automatically synced with Dropbox, and you can access it from anywhere. Okay. Only one thing that I would suggest with your Dropbox account: use a good password. Passwords today should be more than 8 characters. To give you some idea, an 8-character password can be cracked in less than 1 second. Okay, so use a good password, okay, and you'll need to have a system to remember that password. And it does use two-factor authentication as well, which is also useful. And if you log on from a different machine, it will actually advise you that this has happened. So it's quite secure. Okay, but remember, security is only as secure as your password. Okay, I hope you found that useful. And what we will do is we will be starting next time with some programming and things like that. So we will use the Dropbox account or a Dropbox type account to store the data. My name's John, and I'll see you next time.